Welcome to Obsession Engineering at a almost slightly annoyingly sunny Anglesey. I'm here, this is literally my only weekend off between BSB and other stuff for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I decided, like a busman's holiday, I would come motorbike racing. It isn't just me though. I have Julian with me, and Julian is going to be riding the twin at TT. So let's go meet him a bit better.
Yeah, obviously my name's Julian Trummer. And I've got the pleasure of riding your Super Twin at the TT this year. So, I've been doing TT since 2017 and on a big bike since 2019. And my quickest lap so far has been 28.6 last year. And hopefully building on that this year. Basically the first time ever in a couple of years to be on a competitive twin again, so or hopefully quick and competitive twin again. No, but I'm really looking forward to it, and yeah, just happy to get some laps.
So Julian is jumping on the little Aprilia twin. I've got my old 750 here. I would have probably bought a big bike, but that's on loan for TT as well. And so Tom Whedon's got that and he's still out testing with it. And so I dug the old classic out, because I really like riding it, and this is a really good excuse to have a ride around a really good track on a cool old bike. Right, first session done round Anglesey, and this place is cool to ride. We're on the short circuit, so we've got what they call the corkscrew. Having been to Laguna and done the real corkscrew, that is a cool piece of track. It's not the corkscrew, but it's as good as you're getting without buying a plane ticket. Right. The 750, once it remembered it had all four cylinders and sort of cleared itself out, was good fun. That thing actually handles lovely. It just takes a little bit of getting used to because the throttle's quite heavy and, it isn't a modern bike. But I got into it and we're going all right. Julian's first run out on the twin. Usual thing when you first jump on a bike, there's little bits you want to adjust. And so he's currently cutting up pieces of tank grip, but actually, if we look down here, to go on the side of the seat, so that when he's leaning off, it grips like the inside of his leg. And at lunchtime, we're going to take the Dunlop's front out of it and put Pirelli in, just because he's used to Pirellis. I'm a Dunlop man. With a Dunlop, you don't get as much feel from it because the tyre doesn't like fidget and distort like a Pirelli. And I really like the Dunlop because you can brake hard on it and turn a bit more accurately. But Julian doesn't have the feel he wants. And so we're going to do another session before lunch, and then at lunchtime, put the correct tyres in for him. Right, other than the front tyre then, first impressions of the twin.
Good.
That'll do.
That'll do. No, felt good. Yeah, the Dunlop front tyre was a bit different. I'm not really used to the Dunlops, but other than that, handles really nice and got good power, good torque. So yeah, looking forward to the next session and get on it.
Eric has also popped over for the weekend to give us a bit of a hand, and then a couple of days after we're going to be tinkering around with his twin back at the workshop. But because it's Easter, Eric's been very good and bought me an Easter egg. Love you, Eric. My lads, those woolly hats are lovely. Did you know they're also available from obsessionengineering.co.uk?
No, I didn't know that.
Well, you should have done, Eric. Right, second session done. I am beginning to remember how to try and go a little bit quicker on a bike, a bit more consistent that time, and just beginning to sort some of my lines out a little bit. The first session, I will admit, was mostly riding round. There's a gap here because I did see halfway through the session Julian had slipped off at the end of the back straight. You go up a hill and into a tight left, and it looks like he's either took the front, or he might. I wonder if he went down to first and locked the rear up because there's a bit of a black mark or something. But I saw him walking towards the bike, and so it doesn't look too bad. So we'll just wait for him to get back and see what we've done to it. Right, the bike is back. Julian is absolutely fine, but he has to go to the med centre anyway to get checked out. Eric is just buzzing fairings off. He said he hit the brakes, and just as he was starting to turn in, he took the front. So we're definitely changing the front tyre for him now. Right, basically he's done a footrest and knocked the paddock stand bobbin off it, and there's a bit of mud. The engine cover, the GB engine cover, has done exactly what it's supposed to do. And other than that, literally a couple of scuffs here and there, she's not bad at all. Might try and get the mud out of it. That's just annoying, but we can fix that easy enough. Yeah, to be fair, for crashing a motorbike, that's called getting away with it. We've had it over by the tap and given it a bit of a wash off. We have our own little garden going down here. Right, drilled and tapped the bolt out of there, and I didn't have another bobbin, so we've got an appropriate set of spacers and bits. New footrest, new handlebar because it just tweaked that a little bit. Just made sure the bars are straight. Had a bit of a run through the rest of it. Yeah,
Sorry,
happy goes. We're good to go. That didn't quite go to plan, did it, Julian? Right, okay.
One of them things.
Yeah. One of them. We go motorbike racing. It's not tiddlywinks, is it?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Just can say sorry. Wasn't meant to be, but fortunately it wasn't too bad. So.
Yeah. That's it. And we always have this thing of, if you're pushing and you're trying to go faster, you're trying to learn how a bike behaves when you're going fast, you've got to go for it, haven't you?
I'm not sure. Not sure. No, like I told you before, I'm not really used to the Dunlops, and I think that's what happened there. I just was getting comfortable to the Dunlop, so I was pushing a bit more, and then
We found the limit. Yeah. Oh well.
We haven't Metzlers on there, so all good.
Yeah.
All good.
Right, well, you're in one piece, bike's in one piece. We're good to go again for this afternoon.
Oh yeah, we are.
Right. Our day at Anglesey obviously had to get worse at some point, so channel regular Josh Owens has come to join us.
I'm still waiting for this paycheck.
Right, so you've come trophy hunting for the weekend?
Possibly.
Yeah.
It's only an ACU test day today, so I'm allowed.
That is true, yeah. Yeah. So
tomorrow might be a bit different, but it depends on the weather though.
Right, so tell us, for both the viewers who don't watch your channel, right, so you're on the, right, you're on in
when's the video coming out?
Next week or so?
It's coming out on Friday, so it should be alright.
Oh, okay, right. In that case, by the time you see this, hopefully they've had their announcement. Right, tell us what you're riding for.
In competition, Ian Newton on the Aprilia RSV4 1100.
Yeah, so super stock this year,
I am, yeah.
but it's a good class. We all know it's competitive.
No, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so
No, I'm not by no means am I going into it thinking yeah it's going to be easy, or no means am I thinking that it's definitely going to be still going to be a challenge, and I'm looking forward to a different challenge now, to be honest.
yeah, and you've done a little bit of testing on the Aprilia already. What do you think to that compared to inline 4 normal Jap stuff?
I love it. Honest opinion, yeah, I really like it. I think the chassis of it is a lot better than the Honda Superbike. As such, I've not ridden the stocker, so I don't know. But the chassis compared to the Superbike, a million times better. The power delivery is strange because it feels aggressive, but it's not, if that makes sense. So you're travelling fast, so it makes it feel aggressive, but it's actually really smooth. Where you'd normally be on the back brake trying to control it, it keeps just pulling nice and smooth. So it's very bizarre feeling. Once you get used to it, it's really playful. It's cool, really.
Nice.
I like it. And it just seems to pull from anything. I think that's the only thing I need to get used to, is like not, because it will just pull from third to like nothing, so I need to get used to maybe revving it a bit more, but then also in some places where you would keep it low in the revs to not know like a big inline 4, it would just go wha if it's dead,
yeah.
You know, if it's dead revvy, whereas that thing almost wants to be a little bit revvy sometimes, so that you're not in the low end torque curve where it's
you want to be beyond the bulk of the torque,
so there's like an in between and it needs to be up. But so far so good, really enjoying it.
Excellent. And if you don't win this weekend, we're all going to absolutely rip you for it.
That's only fair, that way.
Yeah.
But when I'm racing against legends like you, I don't know.
Yeah, it's fair. So it's nice to have Josh here again.
Cheers,
and yeah, and I'll put a link to his channel in the corner.
Oh, thanks, finally.
Finally, yeah.
Cheers, everyone.
I'll edit that bit out. Right, update from our afternoon. It is clouded over, the wind is quite cool, but so far it is staying dry. We have one more session each. The sessions here with the Wirral 100 have been really, really good. So we only get officially 4 sessions, but they're like 20 or 25 minutes. It's not that long a lap, so you're getting loads and loads of laps in, and it's getting my bike fitness back up, which is really, really good. 750 is behaving itself now. I've gone a tooth taller on the gearing. We're nowhere near revving out, but it just gives me a chance in a couple of places to basically run a little bit more corner speed without it being revving its absolute nuts off too much. It should make it a little bit quicker over the whole lap. Julian now is on his Metzelers, is much happier, and because he's much happier, he's also staying on the bike, which is always a bonus. So the little Aprilia is going absolutely fine. We've literally made one little fork adjustment for him other than putting the tyres in, and he's happy just riding around, basically getting used to being back on a twin. Eric seems happy, so helmet on in a minute and do the last session. Right, last test day session done, and that's the first session today that I was actually like pushing to almost to do lap times a bit more. My lap time didn't work, so I don't actually know if it was any better, but the gearing felt better because the bike just felt a little bit more stable, a bit more planted even mid-corner with the wheelbase a little bit longer, and it's not quite so revvy. So there's one corner where it's a little bit flat on the exit, but I'm going to live with that because it's better through the fast stuff, so it will do a faster lap time. I'm probably a little bit soft in the rear, just because through the fast corners it sort of sits down and just runs a little bit wide on the throttle. But I'll wait and see what it does in the morning, weather-wise, because if it's wet like it might be, I don't want to stiffen it up for that. And it is due a new pair of boots, because they've been in a while. Yeah, I really like these Dunlops, but when you're on the wear marker, it's probably time to put a new pair in. I think I'll put these in for Classic T Manx Grand Prix 2022, and then they'll have done Gold Cup that year, a couple of Scarboroughs last year, maybe a track day, a bit of time. Right, it's about time to put a new pair in, and I have bought some with me, so sod the expense, we'll have the prepaid tyres put in it.
All good, I'm happy. Like I told you, I just need to change my riding style a bit on the twin again, but other than that, happy with the bike. Nice little track here, yeah, and definitely better on the Metzler, so no, happy so far.
And that is a wrap for my first day back on track this year. To be honest, I've really quite enjoyed that. There's a bit of an oddity as well, because the last 15 years of racing, I've been coming testing at the start of the year to get up to speed for TT, and now I don't have to, so there's sort of like no pressure. So this is purely for the love of going and racing motorbikes and riding around fast, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. So we'll be back tomorrow to have a little bit more fun, although it might be raining. Good morning. My ZXR 750's got wets in it because the forecast was for us to be underwater by now. But it's Anglesey. The weather has changed and it's dry at the moment, and so the dry tyres are on warmers in the awning. It is time to put the ZXR 750 in and change the tyres because it's race day. I've also just realised that it's 1st of April today. It is April Fool's Day. We are going motorbike racing. And I actually started motorbike racing on April Fool's Day in the year 2000, so a whole 24 years ago. So that's really odd because I'm only 25. Right, so powerbike qualifying, you snuck past me just on your mighty Aprilia.
You were on it. It was hard to pass. I thought I was at Welsh Wales at 1 minute.
There's no need to take the mick. And then you were pulling wheelies as well, showing off.
Sort of, yeah. You got to be done. I thought I didn't know whether you'd be doing footage or not, so I thought I'd show off, give it a little wheelie for the fans. But in reality, what happened was my wrist stuck on, and I did a whiskey throttle past you.
So, session 1 done. Put new tyres in the bike. Spent a lap or so just making sure everything was really warm before we pushed on because it is fresh this morning. That bike felt a little bit nicer on new tyres, tracked the line a bit better, and here comes Julian. So we'll see how he gets on in his quali. Oh, then Julian, you've just done quali, a few spots of rain and it's cold, and you were surrounded by young kids.
Yeah, I felt like I'm taking part in a full-blown MotoGP qualifying. They all sticking their elbows out. Yeah, we just tried something with the forks, and unfortunately it was a bit too soft. Like the whole bike's just squatting around, so it wasn't ideal. But that's what testing for.
Yeah. It has been drizzling outside, and the circuit is going to be wet. And because it's cold, we definitely want the wets in. So wets are slotted in. They're not new. I just need to turn the rain light on. And we have softened the bike off a little bit, taken a bit of damping out of it so that it moves a little bit easier. And I've actually gone with a slightly softer fork spring in one side, just so it softens off the average between them. Taken a bit of damping out the front as well, just so the bike pitches and transfers the weight a little bit easier. Also, put my breath guard in my visor, in my helmet, so that I'm not going to mist up my visor. Clear visor, and we're good to go. Let's go splash around. Second qualifying session done for my second class is like the pre-injection class, and so I've not got Josh Owens to contend with this time, just had the weather instead. Right, as you can see from the floor, it is damp. That's what the floor should look like, but it's not soaking wet. Like the first two corners are quite wet, there's a bit of spray, but when you get up the back straight and into the sort of top section of the circuit, there's no spray. It's up that end of the circuit, I'd say you actually want inters on. Haven't got any, but down the first couple of corners you definitely want wets on. So I wasn't pushing particularly hard because I may well need my wets for the rest of the day and didn't want to kill them. Just trying to be nice and smooth. And the trick is, ride exactly the same as in the dry. Yes, you can trail brake, you can pick the throttle up mid-corner, you can run a bit of corner speed. I basically ride exactly the same, just a little bit slower, well, quite a bit slower. And that always seemed to work for me. The trick is just to be smooth. But yeah, actually quite enjoy a bit of a poodle around in the wet. Drizzled this morning, just before my race. It was drying, the odd spot in the air, went out on wet still. The second corner had a couple of little bits of damp on it. The rest of the circuit is dry. The 750 weaves a lot on wet. So not the correct combination, but never mind, we went for it anyway. Reasonable start, but just literally the second corner's a bit damp, the rest of the circuit is bone dry. And so yeah, on a hiding to nothing, did like 4 laps, pulled in, told Julian what was going on, so we put slicks in Julian's, in the twin, but also gone stiffer on the fork springs at the same time. Unfortunately he's missed the warm-up lap because it was all a bit late, but yeah, he's on a new fork setting he's never used, on a circuit that's got a few little damp patches. There is now drizzle in the air as well, and he's starting from the back of the grid with no warm-up lap. Happy days. I'm going to put it out there, this is not a committed start. Yeah, the drizzle's definitely got harder, hasn't it?
No.
Nothing to be won.
Nope, definitely not. Not for me.
Sidecars have got a couple of laps on track, and then I've got the mighty 750 out again. This time I'm in the pre-injection, so it's a bit more the correct era for the bike. The only slight problem now is the track's really quite wet because it's carried on drizzling and raining, and I've pretty much knackered me wets up. So this is going to be great fun. went out for race 2 of the day. Actually got a spot on start, jumped at least a row forwards. You know, was feeling energetic and sporty, and then they red flagged it halfway around the first lap. So we'll have another go after lunch. And of course, being a trained athlete, my lunch was some Easter egg, and it was lovely. Eggs are full of protein, right? Lunch break over, time to go back on the grid. Luckily the drizzle has carried on, so it is still wet. I'm slightly hungry though. It turns out there's not a lot of nutritional value in a piece of Easter egg. Still worth it though. Right, I better put my helmet on, go race a motorbike. Right, our 10 lap race ended up as a 5 lap race because I think they trimmed us a lap or 2 off for the rerun after lunch, and then we got going again. And then halfway around the first lap we got another red flag, and so we stopped and cycled round to the grid and had a couple of minutes, and then we had a 2 lap warm up because we've been sat on the grid for a little bit, and then we got going again. Yeah, so a little bit convoluted. It was turning into a war of attrition even on 5 laps because I think I overtook more bikes with people holding their hand up to pull in, but that's welcome to pre-injection, sort of on the verge of classic-y racing. Yeah, not the most fun I've ever had in a race. Starts were all right. The problem, in fact I'm going to show you the problem. The problem is Dunlop wets are an amazing wet tyre. This isn't wet enough. Basically, because it's quite windy and it's quite exposed at Anglesey, and it's quite a grippy circuit, and it's spitting. So it's too wet to run a dry, but an intermediate rear or a harder compound Pirelli rear would probably work really well. The problem with this one is when you start gassing it out of corners, and especially through the fast corners around the back of the course, it fidgets a lot, and then you can't really accelerate any harder, and then the people in front of you gap you. And then it gets to the point where the front tyre fidgets that much on the brakes you can't catch your grip on the brakes, and I sort of rode around on my own. I mean, it was better than going gardening because it's motorbike racing, but it wasn't quite the pinnacle of motorsport. Julian, I can't help noticing you've taken your leathers off. It's like you're not fully committed to the afternoon.
Nope, not really. No, yeah, we got another dry session in today, earlier this morning, so that was good enough really to see which direction to go with the bike, and I'm not really bothered about going out in the wet, to be honest. I gotta see the bigger picture with the TT coming up, so not really bothered about it. I know there was the excuse, but
Right, I'm going to say it, the weather is beginning to take the Michael, because it's been basically raining now since the end of my last race, where I wore out my wet tyres even more because it was basically dry, and then it's got quite wet, and then about 10 minutes ago it stopped raining and the sun's come out and it's getting quite warm, and I suspect the track is drying quite a lot. Obviously not enough to run my dry tyres, which I've now unplugged the tyre warmers off because it was raining too much, but it is definitely warming up. To the extent of, it's almost time to go and get my Obsession Engineering baseball cap. Also available at obsessionengineering.co.uk. I think my bike looks really cool. I really like these old ZXR 750s. Not sold on riding them against a load of power bikes on wets that are worn out on a mostly dry tarmac again. So I just did the first lap and pulled in. I actually really enjoy a race start. So a race start, the first couple of corners when you're dicing with people and shimmying in with people and elbows out a bit, I really enjoy that. I also really enjoyed the fact there's lads in front of me on launch control with traction control and all this other stuff, and I can mug them on a ZXR 750, so I like that, it's good for my ego. I tried something, I tried a lower rear tyre pressure to see if it would basically spread the load on the tyre and make the tyre work a little bit better on the drying bits of the track, and it didn't work. It made it weave horrendously down the back straight, so that was not a bonus, but it was testing, so it was worth doing. And to be fair, yeah, it was just a bit of a laugh really, so yeah, got a race start in, had a bit of fun, that'll do. Bike still looks cool. And that is a wrap for the Wirral 100 meeting here at Anglesey. This club I really like. The paddock atmosphere is great, you actually get really good amounts of track time, and they're just a really good fun club to be with. Big thank you to Eric for coming and helping put petrol in bikes and tyre warmers on, that sort of stuff. It's been absolutely great to get Julian out on the Twin before TT. We've got a real direction to go with the bike we set up. It's given him a chance to actually ride the bike and crash it, so he gets that out of the way. And Julian's good fun, fitted in really well with us boys. It's going to be really good fun to work with him. So, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed yourself and join us again soon for some more motorbike fun.